Screams of anguish beginning to emerge from the Russian who lives at Sochi, which is almost on the Georgian border. Cosmopolitan people come from that area. Yep, well played, good positioning. Very low toss that time, demanding a very quick serve. Take that.
Always a risky proposition, serving wide to someone's forehand. You open up all the angles. On that occasion, Kafelnikov flicking it cross court.
Once again, he finishes the game with yet another ace, 43 in all. And he's level at 4-all.
I just wonder, Krajicek has been in such a fantastic rhythm on this first serve in particular, and yet Kafelnikov has yet to change his returning stance. If he can get to 30-all or a 15-30 point, he might be advised just to slide over a little bit, move back, do something different, which should give Krajicek a different perspective.
No sound of ball on racket then because of the aircraft overhead. That wouldn't have helped. That was a bit rushed, and a low slice over the highest bit of the net's not good, or not easy. Oh, bad luck. It was a pretty brave decision to play it on the volley. I suppose he had to. Very nearly brought it off as well. A terribly difficult shot on the run.
I think just about every time a plane has gone overhead, we've seen an error. Whether it be a double fault or poor ground shot, definitely affects the players.
So Kafelnikov keeps his nose in front here, leading 5-4. Now Krajicek must hold his next service game. Showing for different reasons, really. Neither of these players deserve to lose for things they've done in the match. Kafelnikov at the beginning, excellent, brilliant in all departments. And from halfway through the match, Krajicek just serving really out of his skin. Serving now at 43 aces, 12 double faults. And he's got to hold this service game, and he's out of the singles. Well, that's tough because that was such a difficult volley.
Thank you.
Maintaining this incredible ratio of first serves in percentage. 82 of his 94 attempts have been in, and of that 82, over half have been aces. We don't often see a serving display like this. I know it's been 5 sets, but I mean, you know, it's absolutely incredible number of aces.
Just a great combination of power and accuracy. So many of these aces just threading the lines.
Corrected call, I think I heard. That's beautiful volleying. First one was quite difficult. Two chances to level at 5-all. Well, I was sort of semi-joking when I said we'll have to see if he reaches 50, but now it becomes a real possibility. He served 45 aces now, and it's 5-all.
And after 3 hours and 6 minutes, he serves his fastest serve of the match. He's only getting stronger. 135 miles an hour.
No wonder kafelnikov is not returning well at the moment. There's nothing to return. It's whizzed past him. Yeah, well, he might regret that one. He was there to covering it. Even Isvich served one more than this, 46 in a match at Wimbledon against Magnus Norman. Still lost the match. '97 that was. And a bit earlier than that, John Fever of Great Britain playing John Newton, needless to say, of Australia, served 42 aces and lost the match. But this is right up there with the record numbers. .40 love to be 6-5, kafelnikov. It is, and Krajicek must just deliver one more potent service game to go in the tiebreak.
I guess if you made a composite of these two players, the baseline game and returning of kafelnikov and the sheer power and athleticism of Krajicek's serve volley game, you'd have pretty much the perfect male player. It's been a great match. It's always a good contrast when you've got the baseliner versus the aggressive player, and it's certainly lived up to its expectations. Both men at certain times of their careers have been guilty of drifting in and out of matches, of losing a bit of enthusiasm, but that hasn't been the case, so you would hope so. At a Grand Slam tournament, the US Open, it's been a wonderful performance. Krajicek turning around a 2-set-love deficit, and you just get that sneaky feeling a tiebreaker is going to decide it, and what a cool way maybe to end the match.
Well, we did feel before this match was on that it was a very possible five-setter. One player's strength blunting the other person's strengths or weaknesses. The great server and the great returner. And a great deal of excitement in this Louis Armstrong Stadium as this match reaches the end. This is the last full service game. Krajicek at 5-6. Kafelnikov doesn't like that. I must say, my initial impression was that was wide.
I thought so too. He's not arguing too much.
Maybe he's found a spot on the line.
I'm not so sure that Bruno Roubaud, after 3 hours and 5 sets of tennis, should be jumping in at this point on such a close call.
I'd agree, even though he is looking down that line.
All those service lines have to be called now because they've turned Cyclops off. I think it was malfunctioning on occasion. They've turned it off, so extra pressure on the lines people there on the service line.
He's just delivered his 13th double fault, Krajicek. It's 15 all. If it's not an ace, it's an unreturnable. Oh, what a beautiful shot. Heavy disguise. Played so close to the body.
Picked the serve right, slightly mishit, made it an awkward volley, and then he had all the time in the world for the pass. But I really think now, at 30 all, he's had so few chances that Kafelnikov, he almost has to guess. Has to try to weigh up where Kafelnikov has been going the majority of the time. Try to pick a spot.
Gosh, that shot before that landing on the baseline.
One of the hardest shots in tennis. You're steaming into the net, full speed. You've got to dig out a low forehand volley. The big fella is fired up.
He dealt with that half volley very well, Krajicek. It was so difficult. Of course, Kafelnikov should have made that pass, but I think he was surprised by the half volley coming at him.
Just have a look at that. Krajicek there with 5 sixes next to his name. Hard to imagine you could have 5 sixes next to your name and not win the match.
Well, just imagine what these two players must be feeling right now. They've been on court for 3¼ hours. And it'll all be resolved in the next few minutes. Let's hope that a lucky net cord or something like that does not decide the whole match. This would be too much.